Hello everyone. This is the third video on creating a standalone scenario in Flashpoint campaign, Southern Storm. We are going to create the order of battle for player 2 today. The method is exactly the same as we saw for the first player. However, today I'm going to show you an alternate method you can use in creating your order of battle and the formation's forces. The first thing we need to do is assign the name of the formation and its commander. Instead of creating it from scratch like we did for player 1, we're going to select one already created. So instead of pressing the create button, we're going to drop below it and choose the load button. That'll pop up a dialog that allows you to set the national era data file. We're going to choose the Soviet Union, the very last one. Then you press the proceed button. And then we get a dialog that allows us to choose the commander for the formation we want. And we want Colonel Baronoff. We select him, select proceed, and it loads the commander and the force's name into the order of battle, or the commander and forces tab, as you see now. Now the next thing we're going to do is create the force. And what we're going to do different today, we're going to choose one large force. We're going to choose a tank regiment. So the first thing we do is we press the create button. Now then, we're given the dialog where we add the name for the force. You can change it if you want to. For now, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave it at new. Press the proceed button. The national era data file is loaded for the Soviet Union. So we come down and we choose add units. We're going to take the heading that says Tank Division and Motorized Rifle Division formations 85 plus. We're going to expand that. Come down to where it says Tank Regiments, expand that. And we're going to choose the tank regiment for a tank division. The next thing we do is we add the name for this regiment, and we're going to call it 1st Tank Regiment. Select the update button, and now the name has been set for this formation. Now we need to select the equipment. We're going to change the armored personnel carrier. We're going to change it to a BMP-2 missile. Make sure when you click on the little box to add the check mark to the box to the left of the equipment. You scroll down, and as we scroll down, we're going to select the equipment. You can take time and look at each one if you want to, or you can stay with the default one if you want to. We're going to scroll down. We're going to change, well, we want to change our artillery. And we're going to change our artillery to the 2S3M variety. The check mark there. We're going to leave our flak alone. And we're going to change the self-propelled SAM unit to the Strela. Check mark there. We're going to come down and look at the models available for our tank unit. We're going to choose the T-64B1 for our main battle tank for the regiment. We now have to select the one with the missile in it. I'm going to select the one that is the closest, and we're going to select the T-64B with a missile. After we make our equipment changes, select the add button to add this regiment to the force. Select done, and it brings you back to the order of battle window. You'll notice that the entire regiment is now loaded into the force that we have named new. What we want to do now is switch from the force roster to the consolidated order of battle screen. And here we want to expand the order of battle tree for the 1st Tank Regiment. Now what we want to do is we want to take the individual formations underneath the Tank Regiment headquarters and split them off into their own force. So let's do the first one. To do that, select the 1st battalion, right click on it, go down to create new force with this unit and select it. You're given a dialog to give this force a new unique name. We're going to call it 1st Battalion. Hit proceed. You're going to get a dialog that says that just to remind you, if you've already created battle plans, that you need to go back and add battle plan missions for this new force. Let's go back to the order of battle tree. Now, something is odd here, and this is a bug that we have noticed in the program, which is going to be fixed. It's not a showstopper, something that we can correct right now. And when you create your when you split off your 1st force from the original force and you give it a name, for some reason it's reversing the name and changing the name of the original force to a different name. And we want to correct that. So let's go over to the other side of the window here, and where it says force, the force name, we have new. Let's go back up to 1 battalion is what the old force is now named. And we're going to go down to the menu item that says rename. And we're now going to change the name of this force. We're going to call it, it's eventually going to be the High Headquarters Force. And so we're going to name it High Headquarters. Hit proceed. And now that entire force and all the subunits in that force are called High Headquarters. Let's go to the 1st Battalion now. Got to pull it up. Got to pull it up here in the window for the force name. Let's come down and select rename, and we're going to rename it 1 Battalion. And so we've corrected that bug at this time. Let's now do this to the 2nd Battalion. Select it in the order of battle tree. Right click on the name. Scroll down to create new force with this unit. Click on it. We're going to call this 2nd Battalion. Proceed. Click this off. Look at the order of battle tree. And now this battalion and all of its sub units, its companies underneath it, are all in the 2nd Battalion force. Let's go to the 3rd Battalion. Click on it, scroll down to create new force with this unit, select it, 3 Battalion for the name of the force, proceed, and now the 3rd Battalion has been transferred to its own force. 4th Tank Regiment. Let's do something different here. Let's delete it. Right click on the name. Delete this unit and subordinate units. Click on that. Ask you if you're sure. Hit yes. And that battalion is now gone. Let's split off our recon element here. Right click, create new force. We're going to name this force Recon. Proceed. Now the Recon formation has its own force. Let's do the same thing for the anti-air. We're going to call it anti-air, just AA. And and now it's in its own force. And let's split the artillery off. I'm going to call it RD for short for the force name. And so we now have our regiment now organized in the forces we desire so that we can build our battle plan. You look at the force names on the other side of the window. Here are all the names. Click on one of the force roster, and there are all the units in that force. Let's go in here to artillery. Let's left click on the menu name underneath the counter. Let's go down and define ammunition loadout for our artillery. We have 46 rounds of ammunition as our basic load. And what we want to do, let's give each one 10 rounds, each subunit in this unit, 10 rounds of visually blocking of just smoke. You notice we also have chemical, we can also give it chemical rounds. So let's give each subunit, we're going to 5 rounds of non-persistent chemical and 5 rounds of persistent chemical. We can apply this to all subunits of this type sharing the same headquarters, which we want to do. You notice though that we are now 20 rounds over our limit, so we have to go back to our high explosive and we have to reduce that by 20. We're back now to our basic load, and we hit apply, and it will assign these rounds to all the subunits in our artillery formation. Go ahead and exit. We come down and let's check another one of our artillery units and see. And you notice it has the same loadouts as the one we just did. We're not going to take time to do this today since I showed how to do it last time in the last video, but you want to go ahead and set the default SOP for all of your units, and then you want to place all the units on the map. This is going to conclude our video for today, and we look forward in our next video. We're going to start building our battle plans.